For all you math geeks out there, what is the significance of March the 14th? We'll come back to that at the end of the lesson. So this lesson is going to focus on developing circle area formula. The last one that we did, we used plastic fraction strips. Now, if you don't have those in your school, if you can find, excuse me, if you can find a circle that's been divided off, like this. Now, this was sent in the mail out on the division conference. We have a circle that's been cut in quarters, and the large dotted lines cut it into eighths, and the small dotted lines cut it into sixteenths. So this is what you would get once it's cut out. Now we want to make something that matches base times height. So we're going to cut this circle into quarters and then glue the points at alternate up and down. So with quarters we get something that looks like the Very Hungry Caterpillar. So if we take another copy of these fraction circles and cut it into eighths and put the points alternately up and down here, we can see that our parallelogram is starting to take shape. If we cut the circle again into sixteenths, then all of a sudden it's starting to look like a parallelogram. So we can make our dimensions. Here's our height. So this would be from the center to the outside circle. So that's our radius. And all of these arcs were the outside edge of our circle. And we call that our circumference. Now, going back on what we already know about circumference, we know that it was the same as pi times diameter. Now, I have half the circumference on the bottom and the other half on the top of my parallelogram. So we're going to take half the circumference, which is pi times radius. And if I go back to my length times width, or base times height, circumference times radius will lead into pi times r squared. Exactly the same as the fraction strips. This is just a little more work for the students to do the cutting. So if we go back to our terms that we had at the very beginning of the unit, where we talked about how all these terms were related. If I know one of these, I will be able to figure out the rest. If I know the radius of a circle, I should be able to find my diameter. Diameter will lead into circumference. Pi times diameter equals circumference. If I know either radius or circumference, I can develop the area. I need to find out what is the radius. I can find that from circumference. I can find that from the radius, or if I had diameter as well. All of these terms are interrelated. So that's why we need to have a deeper understanding, not just plugging in terms into a formula. Now, for those people who are still thinking, what is March 14th? It's International Pi Day. 3, March is the third month, 0.14.